What is going on, YouTube? It's Phoenix. I'm back for another video. Ignore this mess right here. Like the one messy random papers and other stuff part of my apartment. Random monkey. I'm literally just dressing with in the background because I know somebody's going to comment on it. The monkey got at Pittsburgh's Renaissance Festival last year. I think it was close to around this. No, not this time. Like July to September, I think it's here. Because it's a national touring Renaissance Festival thing, and I think the Pittsburgh stop is in the early fall. That sounds right. Anyway, that's where I got that randomly. It was one of the random prizes for winning one of the games or whatever they had. Can't talk. That Optimus Prime print. Finally in a new frame that fits so much better. Oh my gosh. The last frame that I was in was just super clumsy. And the print kept moving around in it. So I had a gift card to Target, so I got a new one for it, and it literally fits in that frame almost perfectly. There's basically an inch of space all the way around the print, which is awesome. So, yeah. Anyhow, enough of my ramblings about other things. Let's talk about what's actually in the title. And I want to keep this video fairly short, because the last time I tried to do it, the phone cut me off, like 2/3 of the way through. So, we're going to talk about two figures, my two most recent purchases, and let's just start off with, honestly, between the two, my least favorite, even though I do really like him, but he's also the reason why I don't really watch Bobby Skullface L's videos that often, just because we differ so much on opinion. He's very no bullshit, which I like, but at the same time, we disagree so goddamn often. He's very critical of figures that I think are really good. That was a long-ass intro for Masterpiece Cheetor. I feel like Cheetor here is a figure that Takara was testing out ideas on for subsequent Beast Wars masterpieces that we're getting that have lankier, lithe, or more lithe beast modes. There's a lot of good stuff here, but there's a lot of little quirks and flaws too. I'm not going to go into too many specifics, but the biggest thing in this mode that I'm not a fan of is the weird design for the shoulders, because they do just kind of float there. These sections, these ridged sections here on the shoulders don't really ever tab in, and if you go to tab them in, especially on this side for me, when I go to pose the arm, because the joint right here is so tight, it just comes untabbed. So that's just a weird design quirk. I don't mind how they float, but it's just weird. And then this entire assembly right in here with the fake cheetah head, the actual cheetah head, and stuff, and the actual cheetah head only being covered by a flap. I mean, you don't really notice it if you look at it from the front, although you kind of do. But, I don't know, I feel like there's a better way to hide the regular cheetah head, the actual one, without, honestly, kind of a garish flap that does take away from the awesome head sculpting. Dark blue gets washed out by more dark blue. So, a lot of the detail in the face here, while it's already kind of a little bit washed out by the helmet and everything, it's also washed out and just kind of lost by the dark blue right underneath it. It's a weird aesthetic thing. I don't mind the kibble, and the transformation itself is actually really fun. The beast mode, honestly, my biggest gripe with the beast mode is that literally the midsection doesn't have in, and the back, they give him an arched back kind of pose, and I just feel like they could have figured out some way to do that. It's just a complete oversight in my opinion. We set Cheetor down. I want to touch on this accessory. I'm sorry, but they literally should have just used the plastic count of making this a weapon, an actual gun, and used that to improve parts of the figure or whatever, and just kept him having the tail whip thing that the original toys all had. The original Cheetor, the Transmetal 1, and the Transmetal 2, as far as I know. This is just, it's a valid attempt, and it's a decent, honorable attempt, but it's just not good. It's awkward in his hands, he can't hold it straight, and he doesn't even this doesn't even tap into his hands, because there's no notch here, like there is on the gut gun. So, yeah. No, I like how this looks, especially the actual, like, gun part, and how the tail wraps around, but this feels unfinished as an accessory, and like they were trying to do too much. And on the whole, like, Cheetor is good. I do recommend him. I am a little bit biased because I have a huge nostalgia boner for Beast Wars, and I will until I stop collecting or die because I grew up with Beast Wars. But Cheetor here, in my opinion, is a good figure. He's worth a pickup. He's not nearly as good as Primal was, but he's very solid. Honestly, my best comparison that I can do is if Masterpiece Primal is one of the Hisui era Masterpiece cars, Cheetor here, as I'm looking over here to my Masterpiece display, which is just off camera, Cheetor here is honestly the new Masterpiece Hot Rod. He's really good. He just has a lot of little nitpicks for me, and a lot of little weird design choices and quirks that are a little bit of a detriment. So that's Cheetor. That. Let's also talk, because I can't, see if I can grab him. There we go. Titans Return Sixshot. I have him in his jet mode right now. Have been fiddling around with him since I got him off of eBay, because I haven't been seeing him at all locally. At least in the targets that are near me. He's been mainly spotted at targets, whatever, side note. He's really good though. I never went in on any of the third-party Sixshots just because I always found them a little bit too ambitious and a little bit, honestly, pricey. I feel like they try to do too much in updating Sixshots at the end of the day, when honestly all we really needed was a updated G1 Sixshot with modern articulation, and that's what this is. He does have some sacrifices made because of the whole Titan Master thing, like these sections here, which are the sides of the legs, the front of the car for car mode. These parts are like semi-hollow for a Titan Master gimmick, so you can have a Titan Master riding here. Although that's weird, because then basically Sixshot's a convertible, and the Titan Master would just be getting buffeted by wind and stuff, but whatever. There's a lot of weird design quirks to Sixshot, kind of in the same way that there were with Cheetor. I know it's comparing apples to oranges, but the quirks with Sixshot here are ones that are inherently him, and honestly, my only real nitpicks with him are just random oversights. It's kind of actually a running theme with this video now that I think about it. To be completely honest, they could have given him a waist swivel. If you look here, after you lift up the wolf mode head / cockpit for tank mode, they could have easily, right beneath these two screws, engineered in some sort of waist swivel right above the hip joint, which goes in right here. And I honestly just don't know why they didn't. I feel like engineering this in somehow made them decide to negate a waist swivel, which is kind of stupid if you ask me, because there's enough plastic count in here, or plastic heft in here, to do one, and then you can still have this chunk just rotate on the pivot right up here. I don't know. It's weird to me that they didn't give him a waist swivel, and it's like a modern point of articulation that most leader class figures have had, at least a decent number of them have had. Honestly, the other issue that I have with Sixshot in terms of just weird design stuff is these sections, the arm assemblies that just kind of rotate in various positions for any of the alt modes. And they're the front legs for the wolf mode. My biggest issue with them is that this section here does not telescope into this section. Why? Can somebody explain to me why they didn't do that? I know that wasn't a feature, that wasn't a point on the original Sixshot, because he had just standard G1 articulation for the most part. Although I think he and Perceptor were the more articulated toys. But I feel like it's a complete oversight because you have this rotating treader which really just rotates on a hinge swivel, to not have this section just telescope in and out when you need it to. It's a weird design choice. Other than that, though, he's not perfect. I just want to clarify that. But I am really liking Sixshot, and if you're like me and you weren't really feeling the third-party ones that came out, for whatever reason, or honestly, if you just want a good like Sixshot on a budget, if you will, this is your bot. He's really freaking good. I like him a lot. And his Target Master, Titan Master revolver is pretty cool too. And you only really need to pop him out of robot mode, head mode, for the wolf mode. And even then, you just fold him in, you just slide him in a different way. So, yeah, definitely recommend Sixshot if you can find them, either on the online market or at Target, Walmart, Toys R Us, wherever. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, till then, stay awesome, YouTube.